set. Oh! Right, shoulder. Oh!
Check it out.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Everybody check it out.
You're watching Check It Out on WHIG TV, hosted by John Check and sponsored by Pridgeon Tire and Auto Center, Sunset Avenue in Rocky Mount, your complete automotive care center.
For all your fitness needs, see Norris Morgan at 3D Fitness, 117 Church Street in Nashville, North Carolina.
Metro Maintenance has provided fast, reliable services in Nash, Edgecombe, and Halifax counties for over 35 years. Metro Maintenance offers services for residential, commercial, and institutional facilities. These services include heating and cooling, electrical, plumbing, and general repairs. Our numerous years of experience, knowledge, and resources help us to accomplish our mission of serving our customers with superior service achieved through integrity and hard work. All of our work is guaranteed. For service, call 252-977-2730 or find us on the web at metro-maintenance.com.
Good afternoon. Thank you for checking in with Check It Out today. We have a special shout out to my sponsors, Pridgeon Tire and Steve and Jeff Pridgeon do a great job. If you have any kind of automotive repair needs, go see Steve or Jeff Pridgeon. And also Benton Moss at Metro Maintenance, his organization is run well, and they do all kinds of stuff for HVAC and plumbing and heating and electrical and all that. And if you have any of those needs, give them a call. They'll be glad to work with you. And they don't have to come back a second time. They are there on the spot, and their work is always guaranteed. Additionally, we have 3D Fitness. Norris Morgan is a wonderful human being. I've gotten to know him as a friend, and if you have any kind of fitness needs, go see 3D Fitness, which is across from the library in Nashville. We have a very special guest with us today, Valentina Rubino.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to say that because English is my second language. I was raised in an adjoining county, and I tell people all the time my English is my second language. But you're here from what country?
I'm from Argentina, Buenos Aires. That's like the capital. So yeah, far away from home.
Well, again, it takes a lot of courage to do something like that. I guess your family is very supportive.
Yeah. My parents always, like my dad used to travel a lot as a single man, and they always supported me and my siblings to, like, if we need to go, then go.
Well, good. And tell us a little bit about your family.
So I have a mother and a father, and I have two younger siblings that are, I have a brother and a sister. So yeah.
And you're the oldest?
I'm the oldest of three. So yeah.
So are you the most responsible one?
No. I try to, and as I grow old, I'm as responsible as I can. But my younger sister, she's more organized and more has more structure on those stuff. So I have to say that it's her the most.
Well, that's I'm a middle child, so yeah. I have my idea of organization is I let my wife do it.
Right.
She's a firstborn, so she's very organized, actually.
Yeah.
And when you came to North Carolina Wesleyan College, tell us what year you're in here.
I'm a junior. I did a little bit of university in Argentina, so I transferred credits. And even though I got here on January 2023, I get to do like in 2 years, I get to do 3.
Oh, very good. And so you'll graduate in 25, maybe?
Yeah, on December 25.
December 25.
Yeah.
How about that? That's exciting. I know you'll be ready to go home.
I don't know if I'm going to go home like when I graduate. So
Well, I guess you'll find out in time, right?
yeah, hopefully. My idea is to still be here studying a little bit more and maybe go to grad school, stuff like that. But after that, yeah, we will see.
Yeah, well, I understand. The economy in Argentina is not great, is that right?
Well, now we have a new president, so that it's changing. But yeah, in general terms, it's not great at all.
A lot of unemployment?
A lot of unemployment, a lot of bad salaries, people nothing.
Yeah, you were telling me earlier that
Yeah.
both your parents are doctors, and their income is about what you would expect to make as a server in a restaurant.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so now, what drew you to North Carolina Wesleyan University? I want to still call it college, university.
So when I started the thought of studying and doing like my adult life in another country, I always wanted to like do like the American dream, if you wish. And I started to look for universities. I'm majoring in communication, so I started to look into universities that had communication and what was like the review on those majors. And also I didn't like to go on like places that had extreme weathers, so not too cold, not too hot. And this university offered me a scholarship that helped me a lot to be here today, because if not, there will not be any chances for me to study outside from Argentina.
Well, that's a good deal. I mean, I'm pleased that you're here. I met you as your receptionist out here on Monday nights when I come in for the show.
Yeah.
And I just walked over and started running my mouth and I found you to be a very pleasant young lady. And I thought, well, your communication major, maybe we need to get you on the show. Maybe we can work out a way for you to do an internship here sometime. Maybe I hope that works out.
Hopefully, I'm looking forward to it. To be honest.
Well, I think when we talk about young adults today, talk a little bit about the things that your generation, and I hate to even say that because it feels like I'm speaking down to you, and I don't mean to do that.
No, I understand.
Tell me, what are the things that your generation, the functions or the way they think and work, what are some things that maybe concern you? Do you have some concerns?
I mean, I do have some concerns. I cannot talk for my generation. I can talk as a international student.
Okay, very good.
Because for me, that I want to still, like as you said, Argentina, it's not going well, so it's not on my plans to go back. But it's hard to stay here with a visa that allows me to do that.
Right.
So one of my concerns is that like I graduate and then what? Like I know that I have the option of an OPT, that it's like an extension of my student visa to get a job here and then change the student visa for a work visa, and that will be fine. But that is still hard because the job that contracts you, has to pay for that visa.
Right.
And you as me as an international, I'm competing with Americans, that they don't need that,
Okay.
you know. So I think that for the international student is the concern that keeps your mind up mostly.
Well, I think, as a, I'm a sort of semi-retired but not really retired minister, so I think all good things happen in time.
Yeah.
And I firmly believe God is in charge, and we're not.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. So when I think about, where I was when I was your age, I was single, living in a rented dorm room from a college I'd graduated from, and had no job and no prospects of a job, and things began to fall in place a little bit at a time.
Right.
So I'm sure you'll be fine.
Yeah, no, I believe on that.
Well, one of the things that concerns me today, and you mentioned this about visas, what concerns me today is all the immigration that's coming in through our southern border that's not legal.
Yeah.
Because that impacts every person, especially people, internationals who are here legally.
Yeah.
I think the impact of that could be very detrimental for you and for others.
Yeah.
What are some of the cultural things that were surprising to you when you came here?
Well, for me, it's like in Argentina, even though you greet the other one when you cross and stuff like that with a kiss in the cheek or a hug, even though you may not know them, and you stay a little bit talking and then you still go your way and stuff like that. And here that doesn't happen. And it was weird for me, of course, I grew up with that, like saying, I know you, but I don't know you enough to say hi to you, you know what I mean? So it was weird at first. And the food is very different. The way, not the food itself, but how you cook them, like the Americans, and how we cook them.
Oh.
You put in my perspective, you put a lot of spice stuff on the food that I cannot tolerate because I didn't grow up with that. So for me, it's that way too much.
I understand. And I love spicy food. So.
Yeah.
But, what in terms of your ability to earn an income here as a student, talk a little bit about how that works.
Okay, so me as an international student, because of the visa that we have to stay with some requirements or keep with some limits to keep the status as a student. For that, working, it's kind of hard because you can work on campus, but the minimum you get it's $7, and you can only work for 20 hours per week. That it's a good amount, but still it's not enough if you want to let's say pay the university with that. And if you want to get outside to work outside campus, you need to go through a process to get economic hardship that still doesn't allow you to work more than 20 hours. You need to still get the 20 hours in total. But with that, you get a little bit more amount of money, maybe.
If you had, in other words, the limitation of the hourly rate is here on campus, but you could go somewhere else and still get in 20 hours, so maybe making more money.
Exactly.
More money per hour.
If you have that economic hardship.
Economic hardship.
Yeah.
Exception. And is that hard to come by? Is that hard to get that?
I don't know if it's hard. It takes long to get to you. Like there's a lot of, you have to, that is for countries that you have to show that your country is in a bad condition, economic condition, and that your parents or the source that was paying your bills of the university cannot, and you need to work to help them out.
Gotcha. Sounds like a long process.
Exactly.
Yeah. And how many hours are you taking this semester?
I'm taking 19.
That's a lot.
Yep, I'm taking 19 credits, so 7 classes more or less.
Wow.
Yeah.
And talk a little bit about the communications major. What is involved in a communications major? What kind of classes do you take for that?
Okay, so the communications, it's a wild field. I think you have communications in everything, so
Sure.
you need to like work in different ways in each area, let's say. So you have a lot of writing, a lot of presentations, public speaking,
TV interviews.
TV interviews somehow. So yeah, you have a lot of different performance that you need to achieve to kind of like have the degree, I guess. But most of them are writing or public speaking. Yeah.
Well, that's a lot too.
Yeah.
You know, I had 0 communications classes in school, and I just started the show kind of on a lark, if you will, just to kind of do it. And it's been doing it 6 years now, so it's been fun.
Yeah.
But I have no training in it at all, and that's pretty obvious to our viewers. they see how little I really know, but I have fun. And
That's important.
and I've had incredible guests.
Okay.
You know, I've had senators on the show. I've had people in the Supreme Court of North Carolina on the show, and others. It's just been really fun getting to know some people. In fact, you know, it's just I really feel like I backed into this kind of, but my intention was to do this for 10 weeks and quit. And,
Okay.
But that didn't happen.
Right.
When I think of communications majors, I think of people that are PR people and public relations people. Is
Right.
that part of what you're studying?
You could end up working there. I think that they, or at least in this university, they give you the tools and then you apply it wherever you want, let's say. Because as I say, like with communications, whenever there's a communication, you can have a job kind of like that. So you can be on public relations as you can be on TV, on a radio, a writer, a journalist. You have like a lot of options, if you will.
Well, that's great. Talk a little bit about campus life.
So I like it. I'll be honest, you may heard that maybe it's kind of like stressful sometimes and having to share a room with a roommate that you may not know or don't speak the same language or different cultures. But I think that it's, for us at least, internationals, at first it's like the movies that we grew up like that are made here, so are based on the life that students or teenagers live here, and for us it's kind of like that. It's like I'm on the movie.
Okay.
But as you go, I think that it's a lot of adaptation, a lot of patience, and just it's like a mini city, let's say.
So you obviously have a post office, you have a Starbucks, you have a library, you have a gym,
Yes.
you have a dorm rooms and all that. And,
Yeah.
And now, do you have particular clubs that you're involved in?
Not that I'm involved, but this university has a lot of clubs, like in different areas. You have the poetry club, there's a gaming one, and there's a science one. I know that there are a lot, not that I'm involved, but I know that there are a lot, and I'm pretty big for the university.
Now, do you, I guess football season is starting here, but football for you is different than football for Americans.
Right, football for me, it's soccer.
It's a round ball.
Yep.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, but football, soccer, it's starting out, and football, it's also, so both of them are going now on season.
Now, is the women's soccer in the fall or the spring, or how does
On the fall too. I think so.
Men's soccer in the fall also?
Exactly.
Oh, wow. I thought
Yeah.
one was in the spring, one was in the fall.
No, they are at the same time, I think.
Wow. In terms of, North Carolina Wesleyan is situated in a small town,
Yeah.
and you're from a big, big city. Talk a little bit about how
So
how that works for you.
yeah, at first it was kind of like a big difference.
Like, what in the heck am I doing here?
Yeah, no, not that, but it was like, okay, this is another motion of living. Like in Argentina, everything is fast, everything is now. People are stressed about everything pretty much. A lot of cars, a lot of people going back and forth, a lot of movement every day, every time. And then here, when I got here, I was like, okay, this is more relaxed, more peaceful. No, but if you are living, like I lived 21 years on that motion, being able to step aside a little bit and say, okay, a more slow way of living, it's not bad.
Well,
I like it.
The pace is different.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the pace is different, the food is different, the language is different,
Yeah.
and you have to figure out how to navigate all that, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's what what you are signing on when you leave your country, I guess.
Well, the interesting thing about that is that's with our brain we know that, right?
Yeah.
But emotionally, it doesn't always go as smoothly as.
No, totally.
Yeah.
No.
Now, you were here this summer, right?
I was here this summer, yes.
And there weren't many people here.
No, not at all.
So that's the kind of thing I'm talking about in terms of how do you adapt to that.
I had the luck to stay with one of my best friends from here, so it wasn't that hard. I think that maybe when you step down a little bit and start to think okay, I'm alone and I'm doing this, or when you get into a a situation that it's maybe very stressful or something that is the first time you have to deal with, you are okay, I don't know. You think it twice sometimes, saying, I don't know if I want to deal with this on my own. But after that, it's still your decision to come here, so you kind of push through it and do the best you can.
Well, I think that's smart.
Yeah.
I've said several times that, college or university is not always about how smart you are. It's about how you have the ability to adapt.
Yeah.
And to push through. I'll use the term persevere. And also in terms of adapting and persevering, you have to have some residual. You have to have I would say extra energy or extra push to do the hard things.
Yeah. You need to have that, and also it's kind of it's a weird feeling because you are kind of living a double life. You still talk with your family and friends back home, but they are not here, so you don't share maybe your problems with them because they are not going to understand. They don't know the people that you are dealing with or stuff like that. And then you end up the call, let's say, and you have your friends here that may not speak your language, and it's kind of a weird feeling. But I think that there's nothing that will be more than what you will receive from the experience. You know what I mean?
Well, resilience and being a person who can push through those things is life lessons are not always easy, but they're generally worthwhile.
Yeah.
And I've said this before. Maybe this will make sense too. Experience is what you get right after you need it.
Yeah.
You don't get it ahead of time.
Yeah, I agree. I agree on that.
Yeah.
100%.
And I also think that only a foolish person wastes those experiences. We learn from them and we grow and we try to decide that we're going to be a better person next time around, whatever, and so forth. Now, what about social life outside of or off the campus? Have you made friends in the community at all, or is it pretty limited?
It's limited because here I feel like you kind of like to move around, you need a car. There are no buses or stuff like that. And I don't have a car, neither a license. So every time that I go out is with a friend, and it's for maybe going to the supermarket or stuff like for a specific thing. Then no.
So you have to kind of hitch a ride with somebody else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, talk about, you have a boyfriend here too, right?
I do have a boyfriend.
Wait, will that survive this interview?
I'm not sure. No, I believe he will. He will. He's a nice guy.
And he plays tennis?
He plays tennis, and he's from Argentina too. But I didn't meet him there. I met him here. Yeah.
Wow, that's very good.
Yep. Yeah, and when we said like from where we were in Argentina, we are like 30 minutes away from the other one, but
Really?
we never.
Well, Buenos Aires has a
Yeah.
population of how many million?
I have no idea, but a lot of.
Yes, very, very large.
Yeah.
So 30 minutes away, there might be 2 million
Yeah,
people between you and him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's weird, like to get that.
Now, how have you had any concern that if you go visit back in Argentina, you'd have trouble coming back here? There used to be some concerns about that, I think.
I mean, I think that every time you fly outside of United States, you have that weird feeling like, I don't know, like you have everything in approved and everything's in the law and everything is fine, but you always have that feeling of, I don't know, could happen. Usually no, because I have the visa and I have every paper that they ask me to prove that I'm studying here legally and everything's fine. So I don't think it twice. I just bring that with me and that's fine.
And it's been a while since you've been home.
I went back home on November of last year for
23.
Christmas. 23.
Tell me about holidays in Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
What are the holidays in Argentina?
So we don't have Thanksgiving, let's say. But that we don't.
The Pilgrims didn't land in Argentina?
No, it seems like they didn't. But we have Christmas, we have New Year's Eve, and Halloween we have it, but we kind of like stole it from you guys. And I mean, it's not like we don't celebrate it as a thing. We just use it as an excuse to like
Dress up and act stupid. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, and what more do we have? And there's a thing called like you could say that translation. It's like the Three Wizards, that it's on January. That they bring you gifts and stuff like that too.
Wow. Talk about religion in Argentina.
I think that Argentina it's because of the amount of immigrants that you have in Argentina, you have a lot of religions. You have a full community of Jewish, you have a full community of Christians, and Hinduism it's around there too. So you have a lot. Of course, the main one is the Christian ones. And the ones that don't believe in anything, atheists, I think they're called. And I think that Argentina is mostly divided on that, but inside the religion as a whole, you have a lot of like communities.
A lot of different denominations.
Yeah.
Is it predominantly Roman Catholic?
I think, yeah, I think that it is.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a break here in a minute and come back, and we'll be talking a little bit longer with our special guest. And we're going to take a break in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, break.
You're watching Check It Out on WHIG TV, hosted by John Check and sponsored by Pridgeon Tire and Auto Center, Sunset Avenue in Rocky Mount, your complete automotive care center.
For all your fitness needs, see Norris Morgan at 3D Fitness, 117 Church Street in Nashville, North Carolina.
Metro Maintenance has provided fast, reliable services in Nash, Edgecombe, and Halifax counties for over 35 years. Metro Maintenance offers services for residential, commercial, and institutional facilities. These services include heating and cooling, electrical, plumbing, and general repairs. Our numerous years of experience, knowledge, and resources help us to accomplish our mission of serving our customers with superior service achieved through integrity and hard work. All of our work is guaranteed. For service, call 252-977-2730 or find us on the web at metro-maintenance.com.
Welcome back to Check It Out. We have a special guest with us, Valentina. You're going to start interviewing me for practice here.
Yes. I wasn't prepared for this, so
You can squint.
be patient.
You can do it.
But you said before that you were supposed to have this job for like 10 weeks, something like that, and then leave. What were you doing before that?
Well, I ran for North Carolina House of Representatives and did not win, so I wanted to keep my name out there in front of people so that if I decide to run again, they would know who I am.
Okay,
Yeah.
Makes sense. And since you like this, like doing this, would you run again, or you prefer to stay here?
We have a great representative now, and Alan Cheshire is doing a great job in Raleigh for us, for our county. He brought $50 million in money back to our county, more than that actually, if you look at some other grant money he got. So I'm very happy to support him.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No worries at all. I get choked up as well. I bring that out in people, you know.
No,
No,
it was just the water.
I understand.
And you were, before like running for the country, the county, sorry, you ever thought about like being on TV, but like this, like an interviewer, or just it was something that show up, like?
Well, when we started the show 6 years ago now, almost, the idea was to take some time to teach some basic constitutional law, Bill of Rights kind of things, and so forth. But I had a fantastic guest come in. His name is Lindo Kay, and he talked about some corruption that he had discovered in our local government, and the show went from nobody heard about this show to being really at one time the number one show the station had.
Okay.
So that kind of morphed into other things. I had all kinds of guests coming in that were running for office, some national office, some state office. So it just kept rolling on its own, so to speak.
Right. Okay.
And every time I've tried to give it up, I had more and more guests coming in. So I really haven't.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like let's say like a signal or something like that to stay here.
Well, it was kind of an organic decision. It made itself kind of thing.
Okay. And did you ever because I believe you weren't trained to like be an interviewer or something
Not at all.
like that. And what do you think it was the most hard or stressful thing to learn about this?
Well, I'm used to speaking in public. I speak every Sunday to church, at least one church, and usually 2 services. So speaking in front of people became easier and easier. At first, I will tell you, I was a little nervous about the medium, about being on TV. But I think the hard part for me was I had to learn to think and listen at the same time.
Right.
Without tuning people out.
Right.
Because it's so easy for me to go into my own head and not and be thinking ahead of people. I had to figure out how to think so I could give the right kind of questions.
Right. And how would you deal with maybe someone that you are interviewing that doesn't give you a lot of feedback every time you ask for a question or something like that?
And I've had several of those. You know, one of the things I've said, and you'll get a kick out of this, I think, is that when I leave my show, if I'm really, really tired, it means I worked too hard, and the guest was not working hard
right.
enough. Because I'm trying to keep things rolling, keep things going. I had one particular guest, I'll not call his name. I knew he was going to be terrible. He wanted to come on the show, and so I made sure that I had 2 guests that night.
Right.
So the first half hour, I had a guest, and then the second half hour I had a guest. But I also knew that half hour was going to feel very long.
Right.
And so I had a friend call me from the Outer Banks of North Carolina, because her little girl was they were church members I served out there, and I planted them to call me to burn up some more time. So by the time we had that call come in and the commercial at the break, I had maybe 12 to 15 minutes with this guest, and it was the longest 12 or 15 minutes I've ever experienced in my life. It's horrible. But, you know, having to pull stuff out of people and get them to talk and so forth. And some people just don't do that well, you know.
No.
Unlike you, who's doing a great job.
Thank you. But yeah, no, I had a journalist class, and they told us like to not do like just yes or no questions, you know. But sometimes the other person, it's going to give you a yes or no, whether you like it or not.
And this guy was running for a state office, and I went to several events where he was present, and at one particular event, he introduced himself to me 6 times.
6 times?
6 times. And I thought, well, what is,
what is going on?
Yeah, and then I went to a different event, and actually down at Campbell University, there was another event I went to, and he was sitting in the hallway handing out his material, and every time I passed him, he'd stand up and introduce himself to me. I'm going, maybe the elevator doesn't go to the top floor at him, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's like 5 French fries short of a Happy Meal or something, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah.
But you can't make people talk if they don't want to talk.
No, of course not. And in those cases, would you like maybe change the focus of the conversation, or stick with what you thought about and whatever goes?
Well, I'm usually pretty quick on my feet. One of the things I've said many times is that I'm sometimes too quick on my feet. You know, I jokingly say that my methodology is ready, fire, and then aim. But you know, I think I can adapt to those types of interviews. They're just very fatiguing.
Right. Yeah.
And I've only had a few of those.
Well,
you know, most of my guests have been pretty incredible.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And how do you recognize if what they don't want to talk is because of the topic that you are bringing, or it's because they are just like that?
Well, yeah, when I've been around long enough, as you might guess, I'm an old guy, that I can get a pretty good read on how people relate to the world almost in a matter of a minute or less. And their body keys, their body language is a big deal. And typically what I do, I owe you one, by the way. Typically what I do is I take my guests out for dinner and buy them dinner, and we sit in a restaurant and kind of get to know each other, so we get past that initial hurdle. When somebody walks in the studio, if I haven't had a chance to meet with them ahead of time, that and they haven't done a lot of TV, they get really nervous, and they So I try to get past that at dinner, and I owe you dinner, by the way. But anyways, that's you kind of learn to pick up on body keys as well, and you can see if people are relaxed or not. And I've noticed that you have gotten a little more relaxed since we started talking.
I mean, yeah, it's my first time on TV. It's kind of like weird to have a camera in front of you, but I guess.
When this goes up on YouTube, you can send a link to your family down in
Argentina.
Of
course. I will say, hey, look
what
I'm doing.
I'm a star now.
I'm a star now.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally, 100%.
Yeah, I don't even know who. I guess what's her last name's Gomez. What's her first name?
Selena?
Yeah, your new Selena Gomez from Argentina.
From Argentina. Yeah, I think that we are a little bit different on our career types, but yeah, could be.
Well, the thing I know too is that most people, when you treat them with respect, and you help lead them in the conversation, they will talk.
Yeah.
But I've had a situation where I had a guest on, and she was running for an office, and her opponent tried to sabotage our show, and she had people calling in from all over the state of North Carolina to try to harass her.
Oof.
And so I picked up on that almost immediately, and just did a good job at hanging up on them.
Yeah.
Listen, we're almost out of time. I need to check this deal here to see where we are. We've got a few more minutes. My other guest is coming in a little bit. So ask me another question.
So if you could choose anyone to interview on here, anyone, like, who would you choose to interview?
Well, to me, the obvious answer would be Jesus.
Okay.
As a minister, I would like to ask him some questions.
Okay.
But I think that when I do see Jesus, when I die or when he comes back, whatever that looks like, those questions will be answered.
Yeah.
So, I would like to ask some questions. On a human level, I would probably like to sit down and talk with Arnold Palmer, a famous golfer who is deceased now, who had a tremendous impact on my desire to play golf way back years and years ago. And maybe Bobby Jones, who was a fantastic amateur golfer. I'd like to talk with those two in particular. In terms of political people, if you would ask me who a political person I'd like to talk with, I would like to talk probably with Ronald Reagan. He was had such a tremendous impact on our culture, on conservatism. He helped conservatives be a little more aware of folks around them. He was a negotiator. His idea about compromise was really very passionate. He said if you're talking in a political sense and you can get 75% of what you want, you've won. So settle for 75%. We live in a culture today politically that seems like both sides want all they want and they're not going to negotiate.
Right.
That's what I think.
Yeah. I don't know about politics, but I don't know. It's a tedious topic.
It is a hard world. Is it not? I think when I think about your questions are right on, by the way. So. You got another question for me?
So let's say you bring these two golfers here, right? And they are great. I mean, they chat with you and everything. What would be the top 3 questions that you will ask them?
Oh, wow. I would probably ask Arnold Palmer, what was the thing in his life that shaped him the most as a person? And I think I know who that would be. Mm-hmm. His first wife, Winnie, which he, when she passed away, he gave a bunch of money to a hospital in Orlando. They named it the Winnie Palmer Hospital for children. And I would probably ask Bobby Jones why he decided. Bobby Jones really was the person who was the founder of the golf tournament, the Masters. Mm-hmm. If you've ever heard of the Masters, it's a big golf tournament that takes place in Augusta every year, Augusta, Georgia. I would probably ask him, what about professional golf? Why did he remain an amateur and never become a professional? I understand he was actually had an engineering degree from Georgia Tech, I think is what his story was. But why did he not ever turn professional? I think his answer would be he had no motivation to. He just loved the game.
Right. Maybe he didn't want to get caught up on that competition. I don't know him at all. I'm just guessing, right? But maybe he didn't want to get on that role on that competition and just keep enjoying the sport as it is.
Well, there's a great deal of purity about that. I think that sometimes, like today's athletes, you may be aware that college athletes are getting paid now with NIL money, name, image, and likeness. there's something to me that feels very dirty about that. But on the other hand, my brother went to Wake Forest University and played football for 5 years, and he felt like he got a good education. He was very appreciative of that, but he felt like he worked for about 25 cents an hour for all the time he put in to play football year round.
Right.
And so, there's something to be said for compensating these athletes when they fill up a stadium and the university makes millions of dollars off of them. I just don't know where that balance is. I don't know how to fix it.
I think it's a thin line, like if you pay them or not. It's
well, but even the Olympics, back when I was much younger, the Olympians did not make money, and they had to actually go out and find the funds to even travel to participate in the Olympics. So there's something to be said for that. I hate to sound like an old guy who thinks things were better back then, and I don't know that they were better back then. I just think they're different.
Yeah.
Next question.
So, if I tell you, like, let's say, before you run for the county and stuff like that, I tell you that you need to choose one of those, or doing what you are doing now, or doing that, but not being able to do this.
Well, when I ran for office, I had an incredible positive experience, even though I didn't win.
No, of course.
I knocked on I think my team and I knocked on 9,600 doors in our county, and about 80% of those I knocked on myself, and had a great team of people with me. I learned a lot by talking to people in the county to find out what the real heartbeat of the county was and needs were. At some level, I feel like me not winning was a blessing, in that, I'm doing this now, I'm having fun, there's no stress involved in this much at all, other than sometimes my guests running late or finding a guest, to fill in at the last minute. Thank you for doing that. But I enjoy this. I think I would pick this over
that.
Yeah, over running again, certainly.
And you will start, like, do you think that if you started earlier, you may have, like, how different will be? You know what I mean?
Well, in terms of running for office, maybe?
No, if you start this, but it started earlier, like, on time.
I think that, it's hard for me to second guess. It's hard for me to live in the what if world.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm told that my gift in this area, if there is such a thing, is that my guests typically leave feeling very relaxed, that they were heard, they had a good time, it was fun, and so forth. And I think there's something to be said for that, having the ability to help people relax and talk on a show. And like I said, your body language is a lot more relaxed now than it was 30 minutes ago. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So if I'd started doing this at 20 years old, I don't know, where that would have taken me. But,
of course.
But in terms of, I've had a wonderful career as a Methodist minister. I've probably almost 40, 50 years as a minister in some fashion or another. And I've been so fortunate. I've had so many good people around me that it's very humbling, because I've had just great friends. And one of the pieces of advice I give to everybody is make sure your friends are smarter than you, which in my case is very easy, and make sure your friends' values are good, godly values.
Yeah.
Because people will, if you hang out with the wrong crowd, you can destroy your life very quickly.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Well, let's take another break, and we'll be back in a few minutes with more from Check It Out. We'll take a break, Lee, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, break.
You're watching Check It Out on WHIG TV, hosted by John Check and sponsored by Pridgeon Tire and Auto Center, Sunset Avenue in Rocky Mount, your complete automotive care center.
For all your fitness needs, see Norris Morgan at 3D Fitness, 117 Church Street in Nashville, North Carolina.
Metro Maintenance has provided fast, reliable services in Nash, Edgecombe, and Halifax counties for over 35 years. Metro Maintenance offers services for residential, commercial, and institutional facilities. These services include heating and cooling, electrical, plumbing, and general repairs. Our numerous years of experience, knowledge, and resources help us to accomplish our mission of serving our customers with superior service achieved through integrity and hard work. All of our work is guaranteed. For service, call 252-977-2730 or find us on the web at metro-maintenance.com.
Thank you for staying with us through the break. I have a wonderful guest with me this afternoon, Valentina. Now, that's an interesting name. Tell us about the name.
About the name. My name it comes from, I think, the Latin of brave.
Wow.
So yeah, it comes from that, but actually just my mother, when I asked her how she picked it and stuff like that, she said that when I was born, she heard it and she loved it, so she called me that, and it sticks.
That's a great name.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
It's kind of like Valentine on a positive day, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you were interviewing me, doing a great job. You have a couple more questions for me.
I do. I want to know how was your life as a teenager or a young adult?
Wow, very good question. I was not a good student in high school. I hated high school. My senior superlative, I would dare say, was more related to how much beer I could drink and so forth. But I became a Christian at 18 and a half years old after I graduated from high school. When I went back for one of my reunions and people asked me what I did for a living, I told them I was a Methodist minister. They used a "Are you S-ing me?" kind of comment. So. Yeah, I was rebellious. I hated school. I was the fourth in our family to go through high school. My oldest sister was, she was the brains. She made incredible grades. My second sister, who is older than me, she was like Miss Congeniality, very popular and so forth. My older brother, David, was an incredible three-sport athlete, could play any kind of sport, very talented, very motivated, worked hard. And then I come along, so how am I going to fit in? I had way too much to live up to, and I really got tired of hearing, Johnny, your brothers and sisters never would have done that.
Yeah.
I was always compared, and I thought that was terribly unfair.
Yeah.
And so I pushed back, I rebelled. I didn't make good grades until my junior year when I wanted to make sure I could get my class ring, because I had a girlfriend, I wanted her to have my class ring. We gave class rings back in those days. And my senior year, I wanted to graduate. So from that point, I went to a small community college and thrived. I did really well, basically on a quarter system school. 12-week quarters. I could do anything and survive for 12 weeks. So I was, I kind of came into my own as about 19 years old, maybe 20 years old, academically. And I went to a small college. Smaller than Wesleyan is today, obviously. Graduated, played college basketball, had a great experience there. Just loved it, and then I went on and actually got a master's degree from a seminary in Dallas, Texas, called Dallas Theological Seminary. Came back to North Carolina, went over to Southeastern Seminary and got a Master of Divinity degree and my Doctor of Ministry degree as well. So the guy who almost failed out of school, I came to school in Rocky Mount one summer to make up classes I missed in high school. I had to come over here and pay my own way to go to summer school. But I was not a teenager that you would have enjoyed hanging out with.
No.
Or maybe you would have, I don't know.
I don't know, really. As a teenager, more when I was in high school, I wasn't neither like the brains, like the best one in grades, but I wasn't a troubled child either. I was just there.
Just an average kind of
Yeah,
kid.
yeah, totally.
Right, I
Yeah.
understand.
And do you play golf since you wanted to interview?
Yeah, I do. I played golf in high school. I was on the golf team, and loved that. I played lots and lots of golf, and I played golf at night one time with a flashlight and a motorcycle headlight behind me. Played 7 holes out of 9. The last 2 holes we couldn't figure out how to play because it was too woody. But I played in the snow. I played in the rain. I played probably close to 300 rounds a year, playing every day.
Wow.
And funny story about that, when I was 12, the golf pro over in Tarboro told me I was too uncoordinated to ever be a good golfer.
Oof.
And at 14 years old, I had applied to play in a statewide tournament, and I had to have a letter of recommendation from him before I could do that. And he said, I'll refuse to write it until we play 9 holes of golf together. We played 9 holes of golf together, and I shot 33, he shot 37. I beat him. And this was only 2 years after he told me I would never be a good golfer. So I had a chip on my shoulder.
Yeah.
So.
Good. And did you ever thought about maybe being like a golf journalist or something like that, since you are already on the media?
Well, I love the sport, and I still watch golf on TV. I enjoy being on the golf course. I think that might feel like work to me,
Right.
as opposed to just enjoying the game and enjoying watching the game. I've had the fortune to go to the PGA tournament. I've been to the Masters twice, and I've been to the U.S. Open twice. I would love to go to the British Open, and someday that'd be a blast to do that. That would be awesome to be able to go to Great Britain and go to the British Open at either Troon or St. Andrews, one of those real historic courses.
Okay.
Another question.
I don't have any more.
Well,
I'm thinking, I'm trying.
well, you're doing great, by the way. And, I'm not giving you yes or no answers either. am I?
Yeah, no, that's very good. Thank you. If not, I will not be able to, I will be red by now.
Yeah, I understand.
Because no, it's not. But, okay, let me think. Did you ever, your youngest self, did you ever thought about doing this?
I never did. And I really never thought about this at all. And with that, we need to break, and we'll be back in just a few minutes with a very special guest. So thank you for coming in tonight.
No worries.
And God bless you, God bless America, and go Duke basketball.
You're watching Check It Out on WHIG TV, hosted by John Check and sponsored by Pridgeon Tire and Auto Center, Sunset Avenue in Rocky Mount, your complete automotive care center.
For all your fitness needs, see Norris Morgan at 3D Fitness, 117 Church Street in Nashville, North Carolina.
Metro Maintenance has provided fast, reliable services in Nash, Edgecombe, and Halifax counties for over 35 years. Metro Maintenance offers services for residential, commercial, and institutional facilities. These services include heating and cooling, electrical, plumbing, and general repairs. Our numerous years of experience, knowledge, and resources help us to accomplish our mission of serving our customers with superior service achieved through integrity and hard work. All of our work is guaranteed. For service, call 252-977-2730 or find us on the web at metro-maintenance.com.